Ho buddies from Borderline Games, I'm Gareth and today we're playing Beyond our Rule Ripper, and last time we saw the death of our very own, what's her name, Jin? It's been the new year, it's been Christmas, so forgive me if I'm a little rusty. I think it's been about 3 weeks since we last did an episode. We've got... Oh, I bet... Oh, it's not there. I think it's Jin that's died. Jin died in the bathroom. How? I don't remember. Why? I couldn't tell you. But let's carry on. I'm sure those questions are going to be answered now. A silence that felt eternal. One that nobody dared to break. Each one was trying to process what had happened in their own ways. That silence had only come after several minutes, where only wails and sobs were heard. And when every tear had dropped, there was nothing left. They had all returned to the counter after that. Bill's head was buried in his arms, recalling those moments again and again. He couldn't forgive himself. After her body had touched the floor, Bill had thrown himself to her, no longer caring about further spilling. But even though he had given her all that remained in the cup, it hadn't worked. Right, she was poisoned and he was given her an antidote, and she couldn't take it in time. I think. It was clearly too late, as he confirmed seconds later by taking her pulse. When he saw her practically crawling, the poison had already started its job. Even if she had drank it sooner, it wouldn't have worked. He wasn't totally confident about it. He couldn't know for certain, but for his own sake he had to believe that. Otherwise, he could not keep going. The door had been impossible to open, so although he had objected, they decided to leave the body there. Sadly, there wasn't any proper place to bury her either. Cocktail, the only one with the mental fortitude to approach her, had closed her eyes, a noble act proper of a gentleman like him. Besides that, as much as it hurt to think, they had to keep the crime scene intact. It was undeniable. That death hadn't been an accident. For starters, Jin had no reason to be in the men's bathroom. However, more importantly, there was the state of both doors. The culprit had somehow blocked the bathroom entrance and broken Jin's stall door, making sure that she was unable to get her antidote. Making sure that she wasn't able to get her antidote in time was no doubt an unexpected way to commit murder. It undoubtedly broke rule number 1. If by the next antidote delivery everyone got theirs, the culprit would be confirmed to be that rule. It undoubtedly broke rule number 1. If by the next antidote delivery everyone got theirs, the culprit would be confirmed to be that rule. Sure, okay. His hands were trembling again. This time, however, the cause was rage. Right, rule number 1. Oh, there you go, she's dead. Intended killing is forbidden except with an accusal or being the spy. Any indirect conscious involvement in a killing an accomplice is against this rule. Okay. He didn't want revenge, but he did want something. Justice, perhaps? But answers most of all. Who had been capable of such a thing? Whoever it was, they had to be stopped before there was another victim. And there would be one if nothing was done, as that death could only create a chain of tragedies. Leaving the bar was a thing of the past. Bill had firmly decided to remain there until everyone was safe, but as for how to accomplish that, it was now the biggest mystery of them all. Looking at the barman, on the rules menu. Rule 9 was gone. Jin had been Rule 9, the one that had almost taken his life. Now the danger the objectives posed was gone alongside her, and it wasn't something he could celebrate. What was 9 again? At the start of every hour, Each player will be assigned a secret objective. I see. That has to be completed before the hour ends, without being discovered. Okay. One by one, the rules would fall. That's what the owner sought. 9 still left. Among them his own. Still unknown. Beep. There was a noise. Finally, the silence broke with a bang. They'll regret this. He had smacked the counter with his fist. He stood up and looked at everyone, all practically motionless. Who's the bastard that locked us here? Are you watching this? Say something. We can't take this lightly anymore. Our time is limited. We have to choose. Screaming at each other won't do us any good either. There's only one choice. The game has begun, and we have to play it. But only 3 of us will survive. Or even less than that. Seems so. Bill finally raised his head. No. I refuse. You still haven't given up? I wanted all of us to get out of here alive, but as long as we're still here, I can't give up. That battle is over, but the war isn't. Correct? Exactly. For once in that moment, everyone seemed willing to listen to him. Having to confront their deaths, having to accept them, they yearned for an escape. Bill could feel everyone's gazes pressing him for an answer. But... and what's the plan? This time Sagar was the one who raised from her seat. One of us killed that poor young woman. We have a killer here. I want to get out of this nightmare. But how am I supposed to trust anyone anymore? What have we done to deserve this? What punishment is this? You're still asking that? That won't get us anywhere. I know. But what do you expect me to say? Someone just died in front of us. I can't accept this so easily, and I shouldn't. This is all completely insane. I've gone along until now, but I can't do it anymore. If you want us dead so badly, please come here and get it over with already. Please, calm down. How? I'll prepare something for you. Cocktail nervously tried to calm them down. Bill's head fell down again as his feelings of uselessness crushed him. More than ever, he wanted to do something, while being able to do nothing. Jin's image was still etched in his eyes, making him unable to even think. We have to catch the culprit, and make them pay. We can't let a killer run around free, if we don't stop them. Stop them how? With a vote. It's the only way. So young, and already considering murder. How sad. What other choice do we have? If we let them free, we'll end up like Jin. No. We can't kill number 1. Huh? Why not? 'Cause killing is wrong. No. Because we need to protect Role 1. Wait. What? You want to protect them? Are you the killer or what? For fuck's sake, shut up! Hoku's shout managed to silence everyone in an instant. I only knew her for a few hours, but I still spent some time with Jin. I understand your pain and hatred for the killer. I feel the same. But this is what the murderer would want. Let's let her explain herself first. Coffee. What are you proposing? Come on, explain. If we get rid of Rule 1, we'll all become potential killers. It's very simple. An explanation shouldn't be needed. Bill raised his head. I'm going to support this. I mean, if we kill number 1, that means anyone can kill. I'm afraid she's right. Then what do we do? Nothing. I don't like either option, to be frank. But still, we need to stop them somehow.
How? It's not like there's a jail here to lock them up.
Before considering that, we need to uncover their identity. But if we do that, we risk their rule being taken out. In theory, as long as there's no majority vote, they won't die. We could expose them and keep them alive, but under watch. That doesn't sound too bad, I guess. It's not so simple.
What's the problem with that?
I didn't say there was a problem. Explain it then. Don't leave us hanging. Hanging from where? You're serious? Yes. She doesn't get idioms, does she, Coffee? What I meant was, according to the rules, only 3 of us can survive. Therefore, sooner or later, number 1 should be taken care of. So with that in mind, number 1 has some advantages over the rest. Even if we keep them alive and under watch. If they know that as soon as 4 people are left, they'll be sacrificed. Even if we keep them alive and under watch, if they know that, as soon as 4 people are left, they'll be sacrificed. They'll use their license to kill to get rid of us, crowning themselves the winner the moment their identity gets found out.
What are they waiting for then? Here we are. If it's one of us, they could go ahead and do it right now.
Got me there, old man. I've got no idea. Maybe they're at a disadvantage. The rule forbids us from killing them through violence, so I don't see how. Considering the method used, the culprit does not seem to be armed. So as long as we don't leave them an opening to attack, we should be safe. I believe we should calm down for now, and avoid being alone. Everyone seemed to agree with Cocktail. There wasn't much more they could say, so the conversation ended there. That was tense, wasn't it? With such a tense mood, some didn't take long to leave. Even Cocktail, for the first time, didn't stay at the counter. Nobody felt like drinking, so his services were not needed anyway. Bill was left alone. No, there was someone else still there. Lime, someone who hadn't said a word in that whole time. She's French. He didn't even notice her presence until that moment. The one who always stood out had turned invisible, her face devoid of emotion. Bill wanted to say something, tried to cheer her up, but his mind went blank, only capable of looking at her. She was motionless, frozen in her seat, barely making any sound, and though her eyes were red, no tears remained. He remembered Gin and Lime talking often, though to be fair, Lime talked often to everyone. Obviously, any death was a tragedy, especially in case of murder. Yet no one seemed as hurt by it as she was. Lime? Do you need? You're Billy. And slowly raised her hand, waving. How's it going? Wanna play something, or do you wanna chat? Are you,
Tell me, one of your fun stories.
Her head lifted up, showing what was trying to be a smile. The tone of her voice tried to imitate her usual one, but something essential was missing. Bill gritted his teeth, trying to control himself. No, you don't need to force yourself to.
Come on, cheer up that face. We're at a bar, and not a funeral.
Lime. Oh, she's crying? The first tears. Thanks. Until now, I thought that you weren't taking this seriously. But I think I understand now. So, thank you. And sorry for not realizing it until now.
What are you saying, Billy?
We both tried hard to avoid this, but we still ended up here. But this isn't the end. It's hard to get over this loss. Actually, don't know if I will ever be able to I don't know if I will ever be capable of getting over this. But as long as we stay alive, this story won't end here. For now, rest up. He turned around, ready to leave, but after a couple of steps, a hand grabbed his arm.
No, you don't get it.
Huh?
Silly Billy, you overestimate me. I didn't do anything for anyone, just myself. I only wanted to not think. Why else do you think I got drunk? As long as I had fun, all the fear and all the danger didn't exist. And neither did the game, or the poison, nothing. But while we were happily talking, while we were talking about someone was killed.
He tried to turn towards her, but Lime's hand pressing into his arm stopped him.
Now, I'll never be able to ask about the conversation. I can't even remember the talk we had. No, I remember one thing. I made you make an unfair promise that you couldn't keep. Or, I guess you did. But this isn't what I wanted. Why did it end like this?
Words he couldn't understand. Whispers that weren't meant for him.
We barely met a few hours ago, and yet I think there was something there. Still, no matter what I maybe felt about her, still, no matter what I maybe felt about her, or whatever could have been, the truth is that I can't even cry for Ginny the way I should. Because more than sadness, what I feel the most is fear. I eat that.
The hand was let go. He turned around and...
We'll have to try harder, then, Bilbo.
Lights? What happened then? Ah! The kid lay on the floor, screaming in pain, holding his wound. The pain prevented him from getting up. It wasn't exactly a severe wound, but he'd never been very strong. Luckily, someone came to help soon after, the one person he needed most. Are you okay? What happened?
They hit me, and...
Those guys again?
Yes.
As he saw the wound, the boy sighed, relieved. Don't worry, it's nothing serious. Still though, those kids don't learn.
I just tried to talk to them to make peace, and...
You don't learn either, for better or for worse. Huh? Why? The boy extended his hand. Come on, up you go. Grabbing his hand, he managed to get up. The pain was still there, but seemed to have diminished. Or maybe him being there had been enough to help him relax. Thanks. No problem. You think I shouldn't talk to them? Someone has to talk to them, that's for sure, but it shouldn't be you. I don't get what's wrong with them. They attack me just because of how I am. No matter how much time passed, he could not understand. It had been happening for years, since he was there, but in his innocence he didn't understand why and kept stumbling over the same mistakes. Were they really mistakes? He was always wondering that. When he met that boy, things changed, though not completely. His self-confidence had grown a lot, and, for the most part, he felt happier. It could be said that he was his best friend, his only friend, really, but he saw him as something else. For starters, there was the 6-year difference between them. So he was much more akin to a big brother, or a father, or even a hero. When he was with him, nobody attacked or insulted him, but as time passed, he'd felt that he was relying too much on him. He knew that their lives would one day inevitably go down different paths. It would probably happen soon. It was for that reason he wanted to learn from him as much as he could, make friends, and solve his problems as fast as possible. But no matter how hard he tried, it was one failure after another. Was everything he was trying pointless? Was it impossible for them to understand each other? Some would say humans are born with pure innocence that is lost as they grow up. And part of that innocence was that concept, the belief that everyone can get along, that with enough effort everyone can understand each other. If that was true, world peace would be attained. Unfortunately, life teaches us the opposite in little time. And yet, that kid still didn't seem to have learned that lesson, or maybe he simply refused to learn it, or maybe he simply refused to learn it. Perhaps he could not bear being rejected by others. Perhaps he was too innocent. But even after seeing that, the brother could not bring himself to break that illusion. In fact, he wished for the opposite, that everyone believed in that fantasy. So it stopped being one. Even so, he worried about what could happen to the kid when he could not be there to protect him anymore. You think I'm doing it wrong? Should I stop? It was obvious that he had to stop trying for his own good. He'd started having problems with other kids practically as soon as he had arrived there. While the adults had tried to solve it on many occasions, no solution had lasted for very long. Behind his back, he was considered a problem magnet, a kid with bad luck, an easy target. At some point, he'd given up. He'd accepted his position. Until his hero appeared. He didn't want that kid to lose hope again, but he also had to accept reality. So his answer at that time was, "We'll have to try harder." Was that a mistake? That kid who would one day be called Billiards, inspired by that person, was again on that junction. So who is that person that's inspired me when I'm a kid? He could persist on his goal. Even with a person's death, everyone else could still come out alive. Or he could accept reality and fight for his life against the others. Break shot. Oh, glitch. Thrown to the ground, covered in sweat and tears and pushed to his limits, a switch finally flipped in the kid's mind. Whoa, what? He could endure the pain, as he was already more than used to it. Insults didn't faze him, they no longer mattered. There was, however, one line that nobody could cross. They had just, and they'd done just that, and they had done just that. He didn't know where they'd found that information about his past. Probably from one of the adults, though that didn't matter at that moment. That was his weak point. He wished to leave his past behind and start a new life there, and now that dream felt impossible. He couldn't bear it. The wounds on his body stopped hurting, and something else took its place, a new sensation. A rage inside consuming his mind, hatred that he never thought he was capable of feeling for anyone, not even them. His right hand moved across the ground in search of something. Nothing specific, anything would do. His fingers reached something, his eyes were still fixed on his attackers, but he could still tell what that object in his hand was. At that moment he thought of him. What would he think about what he was about to do? The answer was obvious. He knew nothing. No, he knew doing it would destroy everything. Was he willing to lose everything all over again, for a mere fleeting moment of satisfaction? Yes. Intoxicated by that hatred, letting the adrenaline take over him. That was his answer. He gathered his remaining strength and raised his arm, extending it towards the one in front of him. It was just a small branch. Nothing more. Small enough to go through his target's eye. Oh God. Break shot. So what was that weird little glitch? That was weird, right? Weird to keep your head down. Lime had left after those words, which had inevitably resurfaced some memories inside of him. He'd been there for a few minutes, alone on that seat, thinking, remembering. But the only conclusion he could reach was that he had to keep going. And for that, he had to move. While objectives were no longer a concern in between councils, the pressure to act was bigger than ever. On the one hand was the assassin, rule number 1. Further deaths had to be avoided, and to do that, he had to find out who they were. He wasn't sure what to do with them, but somehow they had to be stopped. It was also his own number. He needed to figure it out as soon as possible. And number 2, the potential key to escape. Wait. A recollection floated up to the surface of his mind. Quickly he went into the data matter of his barman and indeed... Oh. Jim was rule number 9. Could perhaps the knowledge that the victim had desired death sometime in her life diminish the pain he felt about that wish having been granted now? No, of course not. He didn't know when that attempted suicide had taken place, but even if it had been recent, it didn't change anything. Jin hadn't seemed like the type of person to try to take her own life. But whatever the reason, the attempt had failed, and she had continued her life. Until that other person had taken that chance away. And not just any other person. Rule 1. The other person that data included. Again, macabre irony. Is that how you say that word? Macabre irony. But that cruel twist of fate could become the key to stopping the killer. With 9's death, only one more person among them that fit that data. That was the person he needed to find. Only one more person among them fit that data. That was the person he needed to find. Okay? For an instant he felt the allure of a fleeting idea, a wicked thought that tried to make him lose his way. Maybe. Perhaps that was just another suicide attempt, a successful one. Perhaps maybe it wasn't a murder, and everyone was innocent. He didn't have to suspect anyone, he didn't have to feel any guilt. He immediately rejected those whispers coming from his subconscious. He didn't know past Jin, and probably didn't know the Jin of the last few hours too well either, but He had seen her face in her last moments. Even leaving aside even leaving behind every sign pointing towards murder, that face of horror and suffering said more than enough. He wouldn't fall for that trap. He wouldn't use that fantasy to take the easy and painless way out. Salutations, once again. There is no need for an introduction, correct? How are you enjoying this, Afterworld? I'm referring to the fact that these circumstances came after what should have been a dead end. I allowed you to see beyond that tragedy, though I did it without taking your opinion into consideration. And now there's no going back, you must carry on. Diving into the unknown. Well, not so unknown thanks to the little help I'm here to provide. Beyond this point, your freedom will be restricted to the available time you have left, as it should be. After all, we've now gone past introductions and it's time to make things more interesting. You have 25 minutes at your disposal, the time until the next council. You must use them wisely. Of the assortment of options at your grasp, only a portion can be done in that time. But it's not a simple numerical limit. Each action takes a specific amount of time, as nothing is equal, and it's an amount you have to estimate on your own. If there's only 5 minutes or less for the council after an action is done, the investigation will conclude. The time left is displayed in the council section of your barman. One piece of advice. Actions that involve investigating will normally take up more time, especially if you run into someone to talk to. Best to leave long tasks for the end, even if you don't have enough time left to find something in them. Oh, and of course your authority over time isn't affected by this. You can use it to go back as many times as you see fit to do everything, but not all in the same run. You are free, even welcome, to observe all possible paths first, and then decide to keep only those you feel will be more important to you in the future. With all that now explained, let the game continue, and the investigations start. Alright, and the investigation is going to start next on Borderline Games. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Beyond Our Rule Ripper, and I'll see you next time. Have a good evening, take care of yourselves, bye bye, bye 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 bye.